everyone, now we are discussing about Biot Savart's law, and the principle is ballistic galvanometer. Ballistic galvanometers are the measuring instruments which are used for measuring the quantity of electric charges obtained from magnetic flux. Its construction is similar to the moving coil galvanometer, and it consists of two additional properties. It consists of extremely small electromagnetic damping. It consists of undamped oscillations. The working principle of ballistic galvanometer. The ballistic galvanometer is that the charge measured by the ballistic galvanometer must be passed through the coil. So the coil starts moving when the charge flows through the coil. It gives rise to the current due to the torque produced in the coil. This torque acts for a short time. The product of the torque and the time period provides the force to the coil, and the coil starts rotating. The working principle of ballistic galvanometer. The working principle of ballistic galvanometer is that the charge measured by the ballistic galvanometer must be passed through the coil. So the coil starts moving. When the charge flows through the coil, it gives rise to a current due to the torque produced in the coil. This torque acts for a short time. The product of the torque and the time period provides the force to the coil, and the coil starts rotating. When the initial kinetic energy of the coil is completely used in during work, the coil starts moving back to its original position. Thus the coil oscillates in the magnetic field, and the deflection is noted from which charge can be calculated. Construction of ballistic galvanometer. In the construction of ballistic galvanometer, a ballistic galvanometer consists of a circular or a rectangular coil of a copper wire of almost 10 to 15 tons. This coil is suspended in a radial field between the concave pole pieces of a stronger magnet. When the coil rotates in the magnetic field, an EMF is induced across the coil. According to the Lenz's law, it opposes the motion of the coil, and this is known as electromagnetic damping. To minimize the electromagnetic damping, the coil should be wound on a wooden frame, and the whole suspension is enclosed in a metal case provided with the glass faces. And the Biot Savart's law. The Biot Savart's law is an equation describing the magnetic field generated by a constant electric current. It relates the magnetic field to the magnitude, direction, length, and proximity of the electric current. Biot Savart's law is consistent with both Ampere's circuital law and Gauss theorems. The Biot Savart's law is fundamental to magnetostatic, playing a role similar to that of Coulomb's law in electrostatics. This Biot Savart's law states dB is directly proportional to IDL sin theta by r square, where the K is constant depending upon the magnetic properties of the medium and the system of the units employed. The SI system of unit T is equal to mu naught ut by 4 pi. The conductor which carries current with the length dl is the basic magnetic field force. The power on one more related conductor can be expressed easily in terms of the magnetic field dB due to the primary. The magnetic field dB depends on the I current dimensions as well as direction of the length dl and of the distance r was primarily estimated by Biot and Savart. And the field point. The field point P is the point in space where the magnetic field due to the current distribution is to be calculated. Using the same coordinate system, write down the position vector Rp for the field point P. The quantity Rp is module Rp is the distance between the original and P. Relative position vector. The relative position between the source point and the field point is characterized by the relative position vector r is equal to Op minus r dash. The corresponding unit vector is r cap is equal to r bar by r, where the r is module r is module rp minus r dash is the distance between the source and the field point P. Calculate the cross product ds cross r or ds cross r. The resultant vector gives the direction of the magnetic field B according to the Biot Savart law. Substitute the equation obtained to dB and simply as much as possible. Complete the integration to obtain B if possible. The size or the geometry of the system is reflected in the integration limits. Change of variables sometimes may help to complete the integration. And the applications. Magnetic field due to steady current in an infinitely long straight wire. Force between two long and parallel current carrying conductor. Magnetic field along axis of a circular current carrying coil. This law can be used for calculating magnetic reactions even on the level of molecular or atomic. It can be used in the theory of aerodynamics for determining the velocity and encouraged with the vertical lines. Magnetic field at the center of a current carrying